Hello, everyone.
We good to go?
Yeah.
Thanks. Hello, everybody. Welcome to coming here today. And my name is Kresimir. I'm an account manager at Moralis. And with me, I have Lizette.
Yeah, hello, I'm Lizette. I'm head of people at Moralis, been part of Moralis since day one. So I've seen a lot on how you can build really great teams.
Absolutely. And today we're going to talk about fostering wildly successful Web3 teams.
We can start off with who this is for. It's for anyone who is an individual developer but has really big dreams. You may have your own project that you're dreaming of building, then this information is really good for you. Or you are a non-technical founder and are also going in these thoughts of building a team in the future. Or basically anyone who is interested in going full-time into Web3. So we will talk a little about what we do at Moralis, why you even should listen to us, why you should pay attention to us, why you will fail alone, because the team spirit is where you can actually succeed, how you can build an operating system, which is the values of a team or a company, how you can hire, how you can think about hiring the best team members, and also fostering the high-performance culture that you are hopefully wanting to build. And why you should listen to us? Well, we have built one of the highest performing teams in Web3 within 1 year. We got started last year, and we started with an idea, and we found out that the best way to go is to find the best team members fast and start producing fast. So we grew from 0 to 1,000 developers in our community or in our platform using us. And believe me when I say we have made many mistakes during this time. And we want to share that because this is like a life hack for you to learn from our mistakes. So that's why we want to share that. So you can have, in this 20 minutes talk, a lot of value for your future team, hopefully.
So what we do at Moralis is we provide the single complete workflow for building Web3 applications. The scalable and high-performance applications that you can build today, that you can build within days instead of months. And by using Moralis, and now today, to this day, over 100,000 developers actively use Moralis and build projects of many use cases. And we've typically seen them save on average of 90% of development time, which puts them to market quickly, which helps them launch quickly, and consequently it saves a hefty amount of development costs. Because as a dev or as a project owner, I don't want to be building a project for many, many months just to figure out that when I launch it, nobody's going to be using it. I want to go to markets quickly, I want to launch an iteration quickly, and I want to get the user's feedback quickly. The Moralis workflow consists of providing a method for logging in your user, capturing a user's identity, getting your user profile stored in your database with a fully managed backend, and tracking all of your users' on-chain activities, getting them synced in real time straight to your database. As well as syncing your smart contract events. Every time smart contract events, you will get them synced straight to your database as well, based on which you can send messages, webhooks, and update UI, and much more examples. Also, the reliable and robust SDKs built for platforms, web, mobile, game engines, and other, and the APIs to fetch any form of on-chain data about your users, their balances, their transactions, their NFTs they own, prices, metadata, and much, much more.
So back to the team. Why we really, really highlight that you will not make it alone. Because first of all, you have limited time in your day, 24 hours. And there's a certain amount that you can achieve during that time. And you cannot be an expert at everything, and you really want to achieve to have the best talent in your team, the best expert within every field that you need to provide your project. So we think the best way to start with is that first you start with the who. Who is going to build what you want to build? And then you start with what. Then you can start iterating on, okay, what is the way to go, and so on. And how to get started with that is, of course, to hire the best talent. And this may seem very obvious, But believe me that not enough companies, or not many companies, put a lot of effort into it. They take shortcuts, and that's where things can get back. And as I said, we have learned a lot during our 1 year when we grew from 0 to 80 team members. So we've done a lot of hirings during that go. And the key is to not settle for mediocre. You need to be very, very picky. You rather should look for the cultural fit and the skills in that person rather than years of experience. Because believe me, there may be these rock star developers or anyone who has the best resumes, but if you don't have the right mindset, if they don't have the same mindset as you or the culture aspect, it will not work in the long term. So that's extremely important to think about. And then also say no to brilliant jerks. And what is a brilliant jerk? Well, it's someone who has all the competences needed, is rockstar on the resume, but they just cannot collaborate. Has anyone worked with any of that? Yeah, we all have. So we know, like, okay, they have the experience and they're great, but they just drag down the other team. They take down the morale, and you don't want to have that because then long term, you don't have a high-performing team. So we want to measure by talent density. That's more important. You rather have fewer team members who are really high-performing rather than have more and mediocre team members. So then you should start with building your operating system. And what is the operating system? Well, that's the values of the company. And believe me, this is also very important to get started early with, because this is the guide to your team. This sets the expectations on how do we communicate, how do we work on things. It's also easier to get onboarded new team members because they already know the expectations, they know what they can do from that. And that's also something that you need to have already in your hiring process, that you set the expectations clearly and you can start matching your potential candidates to that. Decentralized decision-making can be part of that. I think it's really great because you don't need to spend time on managing your team. They should be self-operating. And this is also very connected to talent density. If you have talented team members, they will be self-operating. You don't need to look after them. And so choose the values that are actionable and reflect back on how you actually act, because it's not just a bunch of words that many companies have. You actually need to live up to them and lead by example when it comes to your values. So the Moralis values are, for example, collaboration, results, efficiency, diversity, iteration, and transparency, which you can quickly shorten up to credit. We have taken inspiration from GitLab when it comes to this, who is a big inspiration to us, but we really do live by these values. We start with this in the onboarding, we check these in the recruitment, and it has helped us a lot. And then it is about fostering that high-performing culture. When you find a great team, you also need to make sure that they stay and that they are happy. And usually talented people, of course, want to work with other talented people. That's how they motivate each other. That's how they push each other to do even better. Because remember that your team will not be better than the weakest link you have in your team. And this is really true. We have seen this, where mediocre performers have dragged down our high performers. And it's a mistake I don't want anyone to do, because it is time-consuming and it is frustrating for the team because you may lose good talent. So when it comes to how to foster that, feedback is important. It's probably something everyone knows, but I cannot highlight more how important it is. And how to do that well is probably to more focus on the actions that someone does. It's so much easier to focus on the actions and for the person to actually take on that and do something with that feedback, rather than focusing on personal traits. And as said, once again, like, living your values is key, and setting the example for your team. And a bit of sneak peek into the Moralis team. One of our big objectives is to build the best remote-first culture. So we are a team of 80-plus team members, and we are from 39 different countries. We work fully remote, as said, and we have our communication tools as Slack and Notion and so on. And you can make it work, but you need to foster that with always setting the example for your team. And we have created something that is the Moralis DNA. That is something that we never take back on. It is that you need to be selfless, you need to be ready to work in a team. If you're not that, you don't have a chance to succeed at Moralis. You need to be fearless in the sense that you cannot be afraid of taking on new challenges, because everything we do is cutting-edge technology. It's new things. You can't learn all of that in advance. So a lot is of getting outside of your comfort zone. Yeah.
And I couldn't agree more with Lizette than what she said, because I myself have also worked with many sorts of people, and it's really important who you bring into the team and the DNA that they have, which is going to make the team efficient and successful, essentially. How we can help you today? We have been helping projects build and launch successfully since 2017. So we make Web3 projects become successful by providing them everything that they need, the full development platform, the tools, the support, the on-point contacts, and everything else that makes a successful DApp. We've made many great successes just recently. Some of them would be the NFT trade, Superfarm, Delta, and the World Wide Web. Some of the great names that we've helped build and launch quickly in months instead of years. And if I could extract 3 ingredients to success, I would say that you should always be listening to your user and paying attention to your user, because essentially what we do, what we build for the users. We don't build it for ourselves, we build for the users. And we always want to follow the user and their feedback and their expectations to build successfully. Also, we should always be hungry for opportunities, look around every corner. We should be booking calls, taking meetings, shaking hands with people, meeting people, because you never know where the next opportunity around the corner is. And third ingredient to success is that you should build good and fast, not one over the other, as there's absolutely no reason why you should choose building good versus fast. You need to do both. And please don't hesitate to reach us out at the Moralis booth here at the venue. You can find us there. Our team is there, and you may also very welcome to send me an email at kresimir@moralis.io with anything I may help you with, build your project. If you need help with your idea, if you need help to launch your project, if you need help promoting your project on socials, if you need help accessing the VCs and getting the funding of your project, and generally, of course, if you have any feedback about Moralis and our product, I'm very happy to hear it. And lastly, you should definitely follow us on socials, Twitter, YouTube, and many more. On Twitter, we post daily. We have many great tutorials also via YouTube, testimonials, weekly challenges where our instructors go live every Saturday and build a real-life world use case, such as a Web3 version of Airbnb, a Web3 version of Angry Birds, a Web3 Twitter, and many more examples that you'll find there. And thank you very much. Thank you for today's time. Any questions you might have, anything you have in mind, you want to reach us out just to say hello or anything else, you're well welcome to do so at hello@moralis.io. Thank you very much.
I believe we do have a little bit of time for questions. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yes, please.
Thank you so much. I'm wondering, you mentioned 39 countries and being remote only. How do you do that? Like, do you work asynchronously? How do you span the time zones? And how do you work with maybe events or conferences like this?
Perfect question. Yeah, this is something that many wonder, like, how do we make it actually work? We do work asynchronously, which means that we record a lot of our meetings. So the ones who are in different time zones, they can always catch up. So that's something that we have already set in our culture. We communicate on Slack. We communicate with our team, so we know when we're online and when we're not. But when it comes to these meetings, we try to have as few of them as possible when it comes to synchronously. Yes. And that really we have taken on. So we have minimized as much as we can there. And if there is any important ones, we always record them so anyone can follow up with the latest. The other part is Notion. Notion is a great handbook for us, where we put all of all the information you need to be successful in your specific role, but also in the company as a general. So I believe a good onboarding, setting the expectations and talking about our values and living by them right away is important, because the remote first is a big part of our culture as well. And it's also why many seek to us, because they want to be fully remote and be able to work from anywhere. And we really see that that is the way. I mean, Web3 is global. We don't want to restrict our talent pool to one specific area in the world. So that's how we also can work with the best talent in the world.
Which meetings are left? So which meetings stayed? Which ones did you keep?
Yeah, so we do have the team meetings, your sub-team meetings that are with your closest team members. So you can still have that social interactions with your team member. But that's more about like brainstorming ideas and all of that. Yeah.
I would only add to that having team members active 24/7 in 38 different countries makes us able to support projects, support developers, support clients all around the clock. Moralis never sleeps.
Yeah.
Hello, hi, thanks for talk, it was great. I would like to ask you, you talk a lot about team and hiring. So how did you recognize during interview that they have these values and the quality?
How do they recognize that?
How do you recognize with the potential candidates?
Yeah, so to be honest, it did take time to get a solid process for that, because there's people who usually what they say is like the one who gets the job is the one who is best at interviewing, but probably not the best at the actual work. So when it comes to engineers specifically, we have implemented more like design thinking types of interviews, so we can see really how do they approach the problem live. We can see the way we think. And for us, very important is that you're self-propelled. You want to seek for answers yourself rather than asking for instructions all the time. So we try to set up the interview sessions like that so we can really see, okay, do they do that? And sometimes even challenge them with things that they don't know and see how they approach that, because that way we can see if they're fearless or not. So it did take time. Honestly, in the beginning you think, oh, this is easy, but it's not. It requires iteration all the time to see and get the best process. Yeah.
We got a question in the back. Yes, sir.
Yeah. You mentioned that you have a team in 39 different countries. How you unify all the people from around the world, especially this decentralized approach and virtual and everything?
Yeah. That's also an excellent question. So we still do a lot of social activities, what you do normally, but we do them virtually. For example, weekly fikas where we play games together or we get to know about each other's cultures. It's actually really, really interesting. And we find also common interest points. So we can have guilds within our team. For example, we have the ones who are interested in front-end, photography, or music, and they also get together. We do off-sites as well, twice per year, where our team gets together and actually meets in real life. We did one last week in Sweden, and that is also really, really great. So we still emphasize on meeting in real life, because that helps the communication still. But to summarize and answer your question is, we still do a lot of social activities, but they're just online, and we still want to meet every now and then.
And one more question, where in the decentralization game, how your team structure looks like, how it works?
So we are still a quite new company, so it's quite flat when it comes to that. But we expect everyone to be a manager of one, we call it. And that means that you know what your scope of your work is, but you're the one managing yourself. You're the one that is responsible for your work. And of course, to that helps setting goals, having like the big North Star to reach to, so you always know what am I contributing to, what impact do I have towards reaching that. So I think communicating the vision and all that clearly gives the team a purpose. They know what they are fulfilling, and that makes it also easier for the team to be together and work towards the same goal. Yeah. I think it's one last question from here. Yeah.
We might be done for time now, I'm afraid.
But for any questions you might have, please visit us at the booth and the venue.
Sure.
We're very welcome to accept any questions, any queries you might have. Come say hi, come take a photo with us, anything you wish.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep. You can go.